Okay, this week in the NFL, there were a lot of high scoring games, but probably one of the most important ones, surprisingly, and one of the most highest scoring, was the Giants versus Colts. Giants coming out hot. Drew Lock looking like the king of New York, king of the Big Apple, five total touchdowns. Malik Neighbors absolutely popped off. Colts are eliminated from playoff contention, and the Giants drop from the first overall pick to the third overall pick. So that's going to have a big impact on the way that the draft shakes out.
I mean, yeah. If you're a Giants fan, you're looking at your screen and crying and galloping in joy at the same time. You watch Drew Lock put up a put up a franchise quarterback style of a game, put up an incredible stats, only missed six passes, in which three of those were drops by receivers. You watched Malik Neighbors, your most generational talent since Saquon Barkley, on the offensive side of the football, go off for 170 yards and a pair of touchdowns. But at the same time, you're looking at it and you're saying, wait, we had a chance to have the number one overall pick, but now we just dropped to third in the recent projectings or the projected picks. If the season were to end today, we would have the third overall pick, which makes you think like if your guy that you want might not be on the board still with the first overall pick you have. Well, obviously the first overall pick you have your choice at anybody, but the most coveted most coveted guys are going to go first two picks. So
Yeah.
you're
Good
going to
observation.
you might be sitting at that three spot.
Really, I didn't know that. Could you go more into
You know what?
depth?
You know what? Believe it or not, you know what? Some may say that the first overall pick, you could pick anybody. But at the third overall pick, you can't pick anybody. All right, stay with me now. All right. So from this
What they
position,
say, it's what they say.
that is what they say. Indubitably that's what they say. So so from third overall pick, I could see the Giants trading down to like the sixth or the seventh pick and getting more draft capital and then picking up someone other than a quarterback and waiting for next year's draft class. But that might just be me.
On the flip side, and people talk about how bad the win is for the Giants. What a horrible way to end the season for the Colts, like
Oh,
eliminated from playoff contention. Flacco comes in, kind of does his. I didn't really watch. I was watching Red Zone, but kind of did his job. 35 points. Had a nice touchdown to Pittman at the end. But that defense by the Colts, like against one of the worst offenses in the league, is kind of just pathetic. Like 45 points given up, no sacks, nothing to write home about at all. Like they just like when they needed them most, they just did not show up, which is pretty pathetic out of them. Like credit to Drew Lock, credit to the neighbors they had a game, but like what a bad way to get out eliminated from playoff contention.
And it's not only that the Colts defense has been bad the whole year. They gave up 30 to the Texans, 30 something to the Jags. It's been a bad year for the Colts defense. But another implication, which I just remembered, is this keeps the Bengals playoff hopes alive. The
Mm.
Bengals needed the Colts to either lose to the Giants or the Jags, which at like first look seems impossible, you know. A team in playoff contention losing to two of the projected top pick teams. But dropping this game is absolutely terrible. Um, it's just embarrassing in general. Another embarrassing thing though is the Texans as well. It's another just embarrassing team from that division, just showing how like that is not one of the best divisions in the AFC. It's just all those teams are really struggling right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
and with that, the Giants dropping from the first pick to the third, I know that while it may seem like a huge deal, I don't think that if the Giants had the first pick that they were going to take Travis Hunter or anyone of that sort. I know that for sure that they are going to take a quarterback this draft. And if they don't, then I don't know what hooligan is doing what. I don't know if you accidentally sim to the next user pick for your Madden franchise or if something happened, but I see two options for the Giants. I see Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. If it's anyone else, that organization is royally screwed. I mean, they need a quarterback, simply put.
See, that's where I kind of disagree with you, and the fact that they only have two options. There are other quarterbacks right now that are on the market. Joe Flacco is not going to be the starter in Indianapolis next year. Jameis Winston will likely be on the market next year. And there's also players to take in the second round. Carson Beck and Jackson Dart will both be there. I believe Jalen Milroe is going to be in this draft. I'm not 100% sure on that. But these are all players you could take gambles on, bench them for 1 year, see how they do. Jordan Love experiment. It's not the end of the world if the Giants don't take one of the top two quarterbacks, because even still, both of the top two quarterbacks would not have been the top quarterbacks in previous year's draft class. This is a weak quarterback draft class that they're kind of forced to take a quarterback in. It wouldn't surprise me if they build the team for the quarterback first, then take the quarterback in the future.
Kind of pivoting like it's kind of different discussion, but on what you said there with I'm talking about the Vikings 14-2, right? Sam Darnold, I've heard rumors that they're gonna franchise tag him or try to keep him around for 1 year, which is I think exactly like the right move, but you know, like that's the best way to develop quarterbacks. I think a lot of times we'll see guys like in this draft class and in general go in there and just not do well because they don't have time to develop in their first season. I think that what the Vikings did um I guess like they didn't do it on purpose, right? McCarthy went down, but that's like a perfect way to do it with getting two quarterbacks and then one for the future, one for like the time being. Kind of off topic, but like I just saw I thought it's a good example of like letting quarterbacks develop.
Yeah.
No, exactly your point, Oliver. I was just about to talk about that. Sam Darnold's trying to get his bag this offseason. I mean, he's put up an amazing season. Um, I do see the Giants potentially, like Tyler referenced, picking up someone like Jackson Dart or Milrow in the back half of the second round and bringing in someone like Sam Darnold, who at this point is a veteran in the league, which is wild to say, but he is a veteran. He was picked in 2018. Um, he's had 6 years now of NFL experience under his belt. So he knows the way around the league. He's been a journeyman. Uh, he's circled around a bunch of teams. And like Tyler said about the Jordan Love thing, where he sits behind a seasoned veteran for a couple of years, I feel like that could be a lot of good things for the Giants organization when they rush Daniel Jones into a role, a starting role, and look at how well that panned out for him. I mean, he's on the Vikings now, right? So if I'm John Mara and I'm sitting here and I'm one off season after letting Saquon go because you don't want to pay him $12 million when you're paying Danny Dimes $40 million, you got to sit back and you really have to evaluate your options because you can't have another screw up that big set back your organization like 5 years, right? So that's where I see the Giants might be going.
And even adding on to that, this draft is amazing for skill positions. There's so many receivers and running backs in this draft that look like they can make an impact now. And I know that the Giants don't exactly need a lot of skill positions, right? They have Tyrone Tracy, they have Malik Neighbors. They could totally improve the offensive line, but there's just lots of skill positions to take where you don't have to take a quarterback with the 1-3.
I mean, the way I see it, I know you guys keep mentioning the Jordan Love experiment. Well, the thing is with that situation is that you have a Hall of Famer that Jordan Love is going to sit behind. With the Giants, who's he going to sit behind? Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito.
Hey, Drew
I'll
Lock's a
take it.
stud. I'll talk about
Boy,
that.
I know, and like, I mean, it's not like this is a super like. I guess, and with Daniel Jones, when you mentioned that, I mean, Daniel Jones went to Duke. What, what
Great
good
education.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, great education in school. Obviously not for football because doesn't know what he's doing half the time, running around with a chicken like its head cut off. But with that, you see that Cam Ward, he has a ton of experience. I mean that might be a little bit of a drawback, having not as young, but Shadur's showed that he can ball out both at a lower college like Jackson State and then to another team like Colorado. While I do understand that their strength of schedule isn't great. I mean, we haven't really actually been able to see the full Shadur Sanders because the Colorado offensive line hasn't been too stellar this season in protecting him and giving him time to throw. When he is given time, he's a phenomenal quarterback. So I can see the Giants taking him. But what I think is interesting is that the 1-2, it's going to be Patriots and Titans for the time being. Do the Patriots should take Travis Hunter. But then where would that leave the Titans? Who do you guys see the Titans taking number 2 if they do stay in that order?
Well, first things first, I don't think that Travis Hunter is a given for the Patriots. I understand he's a phenomenal player, Heisman winner, plays on both sides, but there is a better player at both of the positions he plays. And in the NFL, where it's more physical, more enduring, I don't know he's going to be able to play two ways in the NFL effectively the way he can in college football. At the cornerback position, if I need a quarterback, I would rather draft Will Johnson. If I need a receiver, I would rather draft Teratoa. In which that's where Travis Hunter's like, as a prospect, he looks amazing, but when you think about it logically, I don't actually think he is the best prospect on the board. I do think he could get taken with the 101, and I do think he could turn out the best player in the draft. I could totally be wrong, but I don't think he has to be the 101 for the Patriots.
I don't hate that take.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think the
say.
Patriots. I think that. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go back to what Braden said about the Titans. That is like the most interesting one out of any team in the top four for me because they have Levis. Like, do they give him a chance? I don't think that they like abandon that ship yet. Um, I don't know if Hunter will be there if the Patriots do take him. Like, let's say in the scenario the Patriots do take him. I think it's too early for Genti and they have Pollard. Like, they don't need and Spears. They don't need a running back. I look at think that the Titans trade down. I don't know where. I don't know what they get in return, but I don't think that there's anyone in this class that will really like in that top 10 that really is like a fit for them and going to really help them. So that's like the most interesting one. I'm also like maybe I just don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I see the Titans, like Oliver said, trading down, but I see them trading down with the Raiders. The Raiders need a quarterback, and it's evident more than ever. Brock Bowers has, for some reason, in the national media this season, flown somewhat under the radar. People don't understand what type of season he's having, what type of production he's putting up with people like Gardner Minshew tossing him the rock. And I think the Raiders go out and get him Shador Sanders as they move up to the two spot. I think the top three is going to go Hunter, Sanders, Ward in that particular order for those teams. So I could see that going that way for the Raiders.
To answer the question of who the Titans are going to take, um, although I don't, assuming the Patriots take Travis Hunter, like you say, there are good defensive players on the board. Abdul Carter and Mason Graham. Both of them are generational defensive talents. Um, both of them have dominated the Big Ten so far, and it wouldn't be out of the question for the Titans to take a defensive player. They didn't have a good defense this year. Obviously, there's sort of, Will Levis, he's not sustainable as evidenced through the season, but you know, I don't think it's mandatory that they take a quarterback, and I don't think it's mandatory that they trade because they can get good value with the pick if they take a defensive talent like Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, or Will Johnson.
Yeah, and Arjun did mention Brock Bowers. I mean, once again, breaking the rookie tight end reception record, and in the same week, Saquon becoming the ninth running back to get to 2,000 yards, only 101 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's record. And I mean, this must be part of the script against the Giants, his old team that let him go this offseason. Now, with while it is great to see all these records, do you guys think about putting maybe an asterisk on these records because they have an extra game compared to a lot of the other teams? I mean, you think all the way back to Mike Ditka's era, where I don't think they even had 16 games. He still has that record.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
because you look at like Dickerson is I don't know if you guys follow. He's pretty mad about Saquon, right? Like this week, he said that I don't think he's gonna get it, and I hope he doesn't break it. And he did it in 16 games, but OJ did it in 14. The juice is loose. Like, like the records are meant to be
Vigo.
broken. The the teams that like are like with more games, it's gonna happen. Like those records are meant to be broken. But also like what Saquon's doing this year is really, really impressive. I think that everyone expected it, the best O-line in football, right? One of the best runners in football. He also has 30 less carries than Dickerson going into this game. So it's not like they're mass feeding the ball like consistently, and that's how he's breaking the record. He's like doing his thing. So I think it's not fair to like discredit them because there's an extra game to get the records. Saquon's a little different because he's doing it in less carries. I'm thinking like who is it? Was it TJ Watt who broke the sack record with an extra game? That one is a little more understandable because he's like sacks like because like it's not carries. Um, but I still think get to put an asterisk like that. The game's evolving. Records might be broken. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go first, Arjun.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about putting an asterisk next to something based off of the games being played or next week game being played is crazy. I saw a stat on SportsCenter that Saquon has sat up 3 quarters in total time this year because of how much the Eagles have been up. And when you break that down, if he plays a full game next week, that's only one more quarter. And like Oliver said with the carries, it's not like Oliver said with TJ Watt, where it's based off snaps. It's based off of how many times you physically touch the ball. So if Dickerson's being salty about that, I mean, you're just mad that your record's being broken, bud. Like I don't know what you want me to do about that. I mean, this guy turned his career around from being an injury-riddled guy past 3 years, had multiple torn ACLs, couple of labrum issues, and was at an organization that didn't value him, and now he's in a sense revitalized his career with this new organization, and he's breaking records. So I think that there should be no asterisk because the league is evolving. It's gonna be evolving for years to come. There's no reason to put an asterisk if if this is just how the way it's going. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you. You said everything I was going to say, mainly with the carries. Saquon is having more yards per attempt. He is running the ball better than Eric Dickerson was. If you put Saquon in Eric Dickerson's positions, gave him the same amount of attempts per game, he'd have more yards by now. It's just the fact that the Eagles are playing so well this year, he doesn't really have to. And yeah, I feel like you can't really give him an asterisk for being good. It's different. It's different under certain if like there's rule changes, or if there's like extreme schedule changes where you're playing like 4 or 5 more games. But in a situation where it's one more game and you have similar carries, there's no reason for there to be an asterisk. Let history develop.
I think another good thing to mention with that is that it's the game has evolved into a more pass heavy type offenses, and now seeing that Saquon Barkley already got 2,000 yards in an era where it's pass first through all levels, high school, college, and the pros. I think that in itself is more impressive. And with some of these other records like TJ Watt tying the sack record, you could put some like asterisks on that. Like Michael Strahan didn't have a single sack his first 3 games when he got it that season. And then you could also think the last game where Brett Favre pretty much gave him the sack. And we saw Mark Gastineau in that documentary confront Brett Favre about it, seeming to be a little salty over it and everything. So I know it does seem that like an extra game, but I do think that at least with like the Brock Bowers thing, it's a little bit, I guess, harder because not Mike Ditka did this in the 60s. I mean, you don't think about this record has stood for 60 years. That in itself is extremely impressive, and the fact that no one was able to get it for a long time despite this pass heavy offense, I think that in itself really just shows, I guess, like how good of a record Mike Ditka had for that long.
Yeah,
I mean,
Bowers.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, Bowers definitely had like an incredible season. I played him the fantasy championship this week. He's going to be like one of the reasons I lost. So screw him. But something I'm really curious about is to see his year 2 if he does have a sophomore slump or if he accelerates. Sam Laporta, I want to talk about him. He's found his groove as of recent, but he started out the year really, really bad, coming off a year he was tight end 1,
Yeah.
which is Bowers. I guess it's different because Laporta is playing on one of the best offense in the league. It's interesting to see his role like be diminished a little bit, but his team's winning games. He's still like not doing bad, and as of recent, he's doing better. But I wonder how Bowers will do next year. I think that it'll be the same. That offense isn't great. Aiden O'Connell, he's shout out him though, my high school alumni. But I think that they're gonna keep giving him the ball. He's still the number 1 option on that team. So
Wait,
Hold
Aiden
on.
O'Connell went to your high
I just
school?
want to. Purdue legend Aiden O'Connell went to Stevenson High School.
and Jalen Brunson, shout out Jalen Brunson,
My
And
glorious
Jalen.
king Jalen Brunson went to your high school?
shout out Jalen Brunson, shout out Aiden O'Connell,
I
shout
would
out
be
the guy that OJ killed. He went to Stevenson, Ron Goldman.
Yo, what?
Um,
This is
shout
some
out,
crazy
shout out, buddy,
lore.
shout out Rex Ryan, shout out the Catching Sisters.
Did they
Um,
all go to your high school?
yeah,
Dude,
shout
how
out
many
Oliver
people?
Aurora.
Yeah, shit. All right. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Okay, that's pushing it. That's
Yeah,
pushing
that's
it.
immense glaze. I'm not gonna lie. But how many kids are like in your school?
Right this year it's 4,800.
Is it a regional high school?
Yeah, it's a public school.
No, but like, is it Is it like regional?
What do I mean?
So like multiple towns go into the one school because like
Yeah,
the.
yeah, yeah. It's a big
Oh,
school.
okay. So it doesn't really count like
Okay.
that.
No, but that's still sick though. I
That
mean,
that yeah, I'm
Jalen
not discrediting
Brunson.
it. I'm not discrediting it. But like
It
here on
keeps sleeping on
the
Ron Goldman, actually.
Ron,
That's the big one.
yo, who was Ron
That's the
Goldman?
guy that OJ killed.
Oh shoot, my bad, my bad.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's the mindset.
I
Allegedly.
don't know why we're talking down on my guy right now, but let's continue. Let's
The juice
continue.
was
Braden,
loose.
Braden,
Juice
next
was
segment,
indeed
Braden,
loose.
Braden, next segment.
Okay, so for this segment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list a couple of sport players from NBA, MLB, and we're going to think of an NFL player equivalent, whether it's kind of that type of play style. Well, not really play style, just like maybe impact, leadership, just the way that they go about things. So I'm just going to start off with Kyrie Irving. Who is the NFL player equivalent of Kyrie Irving?
Are we working together or are we picking our own answer?
Yeah, we'll just like all collab together.
All right. So first off, you got to think of a dude that's like extremely crafty. Like he has a bag.
I already got mine, and it's because of recently. Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
After that backwards hurdle, I have to say Saquon Barkley
That's low key
because
the
he
pick.
he pulls out some moves that you wouldn't see, and he's dancing around the field. You could say like Barry Sanders as well. People used to always say he was dancing on the field, and people say Kyrie dances on the court. But it's like a very elusive running backs kind of like fit that comparison.
Do they got to be currently in the league or no?
No, you can say with anyone.
Okay.
Low key Le'Veon Bell.
Low key, that's not even a
So I was
bad.
thinking the number two option right behind AB. AB at his peak. Very crafty guy, flashy. Everyone likes watching him play. Kind of a nutcase, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
like nothing
no.
too crazy.
So I was thinking personality wise, I would go with Aaron Rodgers. Because I mean, Aaron
Mm.
Rodgers is like he's up all on this like hippie stuff, and like
Perfect.
Kyrie,
He's so bad too, by the way. He's
Ky,
so bad.
and
If that's your type, but
Kyrie
Bro,
had
come on,
the
man.
the COVID thing. I mean, a lot. It's just I've just feel like, oh my gosh. Okay, I just think if we're going like personality wise, I would definitely go with Aaron Rodgers as Kyrie Irving.
All right. Now hear me out. Florida, Kadarius Toney. All right. Florida Gators wide receiver Kadarius Toney. Now get in your bag with me, all right? Go on a little trip down memory lane right now.
I don't want to be in your bag right now.
I
Whoa,
would
I don't like
whoa,
it.
whoa!
I
if you're
don't.
gonna
I don't
if you're
like
gonna
it.
say that, why don't you just say like West Virginia Tavon Austin?
No, because Kadarius Toney's more of a crash out.
Why not just say Kyrie Irving if he played football? I feel like that's a good comparison.
Dude, that get out, man. Get out. No, but listen to me, all right? Kadarius Toney's a crash out. We know that. He's been a crash out. There's literal clips of Kyrie Irving in Boston putting like ashes on the TD Garden floor before a game. That is trippy. Have you seen Kadarius Toney in the locker room? Pause. I mean, that
Patrick
man.
Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he's a crash out. I mean, and Kadarius Toney has a bag. I'm not sure if you've seen the Florida Gators play where he made 8 guys miss. I mean, he's a dog. I mean, he's not a good dog, but he is a dog. You know what I mean? Yeah,
No.
that's all I got. No, that's all.
Type, type, type,
Okay.
No,
I
nothing,
don't.
nothing, man, nothing.
Nope.
That
Nothing.
that bag
type,
was
type.
like very shallow.
Yo, that
That was
was
something.
Mary
That was something.
Poppins level bag, man. I hope you
Yeah.
understand that. That was immense bag work. I went to the college days.
Mary
Okay.
Poppins.
Anyway. Okay.
Y'all don't
This
understand
this
analogies.
this
Hey,
next
W
one.
Cliff Farm, bro.
All right.
Okay. The next player. Who is the NFL? I guess equivalent to Draymond Green.
Pickens.
Oh, that's too
Mm,
easy.
I like that
Just
one.
like think a little bit deeper, I guess.
Yo, my bag was too deep last
I like
round.
the
I can roll
Pickens. I
this
like the
out.
Pickens.
Give me Vontez Perfect.
Mm.
Dirty
Who's like
player
a
who
champ?
likes hitting people.
He's like a bad Ray Lewis.
Urlacher?
Like not skill set, like mindset. Like, and he's won rings, but he's like the
I don't know
skill set
about
is disrespectful.
mindset. That's disrespectful to compare the two mindsets.
Yeah,
Talking about
Ray Lewis would have me ready to go. I'd be ready to run through a wall. Draymond Green, it would be like, wow, you punched him again. It's the first
Hey,
quarter.
Ray can throw a punch. Don't sleep on him. He's done it in his past.
hold on. Draymond is like a baller too. Like Ray was an
Come
amazing
on, bro.
football player. Draymond is a hooper. We're not gonna like discredit Draymond right
Yeah,
now.
I
You see him
honestly,
flood the Rudy Gobert?
yeah, okay. But
What?
honestly, when I thought of Draymond Green, my first thought was George Pickens. I just wanted to do something extremely obvious. Okay,
Yeah.
this next one, Devin Booker. Who's the NFL equivalent of Devin Booker? Maybe someone who's like quiet, just kind of just cares about their sport, but a baller.
Tyler Lockett.
That
Ooh,
that's
pull.
real.
That's a nice pull.
I mean, he's gonna be fresh on the block with Cam Ward. He kind of does what he does. He goes out there, nonchalant
He's way too
vibe to
nonchalant,
him.
that guy.
Yo,
Yeah,
Way
Yeah,
too
Devin Booker
nonchalant.
too, bro. Devin Booker just like he's a chill guy who likes to play basketball.
I like that Tyler Lockett pick though. I
Tyler
mean,
Lockett is tough.
Tyler Lockett
Tyler
knows his
Tyler
role.
doesn't do anything
Consistent.
except football. He just
Mhm.
I hate his fantasy inconsistency though. He'll have like one game, 2 receptions, 17 yards. The next game, 8 for
60.
150 and 2 touchdowns.
Yep. He was a stud though. I mean, he is a stud.
Okay, now we're gonna jump over to the MLB. Who is the player equivalent of Mike Trout? Maybe like a superstar, but is never getting a shot at a ring. Is always on like some bum team that's never doing anything too much.
Give me Calvin Johnson, maybe.
I like that a lot
An
too because injuries. I like that one a
absolute
lot.
freak, constantly getting injured, never on the team to compete.
That's the answer right
Absolute
there.
superstar.
Awesome. And okay, so this next one, Paul Skeens. This is another example of a guy that
Jaden
just
Daniels.
that was quick.
Give him some time to speak. Damn.
Yeah, no, but I do like that pick. I mean, coming like fresh out of college and then just immediately having a really big impact for your team. While Jaden Daniels' impact has given Washington some wins, rather than Paul Skeens didn't really give the Pirates too many wins. But it's all right. You can't pitch every single game, and
Also,
Can't win them all.
both LSU.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah.
There you go. Okay, last one, Mookie Betts.
Ooh.
He's won it with two teams. Successful guy.
Hold on,
Von Miller?
How do you spell Mookie Betts?
Mookie
You
Betts.
really Googling Mookie Betts right now?
Yo,
You
I
don't know
do
who that
not
is,
watch
bro?
baseball, bro. Do not play me.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of like a guy that's really successful, has been on like two teams.
I'm thinking Von Miller. Oh, he's on 3, but won a Super Bowl on each team. Mookie won a ring on each team.
I forgot about the second Von Miller ring.
Hey, hear me out.
Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year, Mookie MVP.
Bobby Wagner.
Don't hate that.
I like
I'm just
Von.
throwing stuff out in the dark, man. I
I,
do
li-
not
I
know
like Von
baseball.
Miller a lot more because
Yeah,
Mookie's always been a guy that creates such an impact, and Von Miller too.
yeah. Von Miller in his prime was really dangerous, and then like his second ring just came in from the Rams all-in season. I mean that. I'm not sure we really took time to like appreciate. Like
Both in LA as well. Both in
Oh,
LA.
gutsy.
we've never seen an NFL team buy so much into one season. Matthew
ridiculous.
Stafford, Cooper Kupp coming out of literally nowhere, Von Miller, Aaron Donald,
OBJ.
Eric
OBJ.
Weddle.
Jalen
Yeah,
Ramsey.
Eric Weddle coming
He's
out of
already there.
retirement for the team.
Eric Weddle was playing games at LA Fitness to stay in shape, and then 2 weeks later, he was at the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? That's a dog.
That's my Madden goat. Madden goat.
Him and Earl Thomas, studs.
Earl Thomas. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, gone
So
too soon.
sad.
Gone way too
He's
soon.
he's definitely not dead, but
Yeah, he's 100%
Yeah.
not dead.
He's kicking about.
Okay, and with that, that's going to close out our NFL segment of Coastal Feuds. Oliver, our guest, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure as always, fellas.
All right, make sure to like, subscribe, follow our other socials. We just got a new Spotify, so make sure to tune in there too. And we'll see you guys next week.